So one of the interesting things that SGGAC has done as part of its evolution is to aid the bank's growth in new markets.
Yes.
Can you talk about a couple of examples and what were the enablers to make this happen?
I can probably quote a couple of examples. So recently, the bank wanted to open a new branch in Australia. So it was a new presence, new market entry for the bank, where we had to do the full setup, including obtaining the license from the Australian regulators, getting the approvals from the ECB, because we are a European bank, as well as setting up the entire infrastructure of the bank in Australia, setting up all the IT tools, more than 150 applications that had to be interconnected to, flow the full thing, set up all the connectivity to the markets and all of those activities, plus, setting up of the finance, the HR teams, etc. So a full end-to-end setup of the branch, which historically, if you go in some of the other examples of a new location setup, would have taken more than a couple, sort of 18 months, 24 months with a multi-million-dollar budget. But because from SGGSC, we basically made a proposal saying we can do all of that in 8 months with the budget significantly lower than what was originally estimated, because we had the full expertise over many years of setting up similar types of new businesses in Hong Kong, in Japan, in Singapore, in South Korea, etc. So we were able to package all of that, create a full end-to-end project which managed all the regulatory approval, the setting up of the IT system, setting up of the infrastructure, etc. We are able to successfully do all of that with very strong project management capabilities, working with the global teams, and we are able to do that in 8 to 9 months, and the bank is now operational, delivering significant top-line growth for the bank. So that's one example where we believe by packaging all the inherent capabilities of the GICs in a overall outcome-based approach was something that was beneficial for the full bank, and we delivered value through that. The other example that I can talk about, which is interesting, is related to how we from India in the Shared Service Center contribute to the bank's Africa ecosystem and the Africa businesses. The bank has a large presence in Africa. It's in the bank strategy to focus on Australia and on Africa, because we believe it's a very strong market for the future. The demographics and the business challenges that our bank faces in Africa is very comparable to some of the challenges that, let's say, Indian banks and the Indian demographic faces. So we believed that many of the startup ecosystems that are there here in India can strongly contribute to the African business challenges. So we were able to structure a program, we call that Catalyst, to look at all the startup solutions and see how they could address some of the Africa business challenges. We ran that program, and we are now in a position to channelize some of the startup solutions to Africa to be used there. We also developed an internal startup that developed a new offering called Cashberry, which helps businesses in the movement of cash, because Africa is still a relatively strong cash economy, and with a low penetration of ATM. So we are able to mitigate that, let's say, infrastructure challenge that Africa has by a solution that helps some easy movement of that. So some ideas like this, which help the Africa businesses promote a new business solution, and in the process make the brand presence of Societe Generale stronger in Africa by generating new business opportunities.
So this is very impressive, Sunil. So in terms of piloting this idea, right, did the businesses reach out to the GIC saying, look, we have this issue in Africa, can you help? or was this something that you proactively proposed, saying, given our capabilities, this is the business challenge and this is how we could help?
I would say it's more of the latter. It's not exactly like, we knew the Africa businesses very well and we, went with a clear proposal and a solution. But it was the overall effort of, let's say, promoting the services of the shared service centers within the group, where we established contact with the Africa businesses, talk to them about our capabilities, and really, based on some of the research that our team did, they really were convinced that there is a lot of similarity between the banking needs that the Africa businesses need vis-a-vis what was available in the Indian ecosystem. So we were able to slowly, with a little bit of interaction and let's say mutual partnership, build a proposal that met their needs.
Thanks. So there are 3 key learnings for GICs as they think about how to enable top line or revenue growth for their parent enterprises. Those would be one, proactive mindset and thinking out of the box in terms of what is possible. The second is bringing together the collective capabilities, because as you heard in this example, it's really not about just IT or ops, it's just the combination of all of that coupled with business context to make it happen. And the third is clearly aligning to business outcomes, because at the end of the day, when you're thinking about revenue growth, top line growth, it's a business outcome, which is very different from a cost mindset or an operational mindset. So making that mindset shift will be critical to GICs enabling top line growth. Thank you.